Hey guys, what's going on? Nick Kellar,
Greg Brock.
We're with Atlas Premier Realty. Hope you guys had a great start to your 2022. Wanted to shoot a quick market update here. Real estate market was obviously really volatile and crazy last year.
Yep.
Getting a lot of people here at the top of the year asking what's going to happen in 2022. So wanted to talk about 4 metrics to keep an eye on as the year goes.
Right.
So the first one's interest rates. So 2021 saw historically low interest rates, usually between that 2.5% to 3% range. And that allowed affordability to be the best it's been in 30 years, despite prices being at an all-time high.
Correct.
Reason being is the Federal Reserve kept their funds rate at 0% to combat inflation. So that had caused institutional investors to put their money in U.S. Treasury bonds, which kept interest rates at bay. So going into the year, the Federal Reserve has said that they're going to do 3 planned rate hikes, which will indirectly impact mortgage rates. But more recently, as of this video, news has come out that they're going to probably do 4 or possibly more throughout the year. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Make no mistake about it, rates are going to go up this year. The days of sub 3% may be over. The one thing to keep an eye on as it relates to interest rates is this growing conflict with Russia. Traditionally, international conflict can spook investors out of international investments and put their money into treasury bonds, which could suppress interest rates. So something to keep an eye on.
So the second one we're going to talk about is appreciation. Nationally, home prices went up 18.5%. For context, the historical norm here is 1 to 2% above the rate of inflation, which is normally around 3%. So usually in the real estate market, we see an appreciation of 4 to 5%. Obviously, rate of inflation is based on location, but generally speaking, if you bought a $400,000 home at the beginning of 2021, it went up nearly $75,000.
Yeah.
Rising interest rates will make affordability less desirable, which will slowly impact prices, and that's because as buyers can't afford that next house that they really wanted, the sellers got to pull their prices down to reach that buyer. Data is still suggesting that 2022 appreciation is going to be in the 6 to 7% range. So our values will still grow, just at a slower rate than we've seen in 2021.
Yeah.
So we're still outpacing the historical norm here, but it's just not going to be quite as insane as it was in 2021.
Houses are still going to appreciate just at a slower rate.
Yeah.
That was unsustainable. The third was supply. So nationally, there's more than 50% less homes available for sale in 2021 than pre-pandemic 2019. So that's a lot of inventory to make up, considering demand, which we'll touch on in a second. So that's not going to get made up overnight. In fact, it's not even going to get made up this year. So things are still going to remain unbalanced. New constructions and existing home sales need to meet that demand. It's just not going to happen overnight. Make no mistake about it though, this was a growing issue long before COVID. This has been headed this way for several years, but the supply chain and labor issues of last year have certainly compounded that. So just know that 2022, if you're getting into the market, is still going to remain a heavy seller's market.
Right. So our fourth one is demand. We just touched on it a little bit, but national home sales are up 20% from pre-pandemic levels in 2019.
Yeah.
And then we've got all kinds of stuff coming down the pipe from the president and his current administration, the Build Back Better program, to increase access to home ownership through 2 programs. One is a $10 billion in debt down payment assistance for first-time home buyers or first-generation buyers.
Yeah.
And then second is a $15 billion program to build and preserve 150,000 affordable homes for low-income households. So this is a lot of money that's going to take a lot of time to actually trickle down to the consumer, but that being said, it's just not going to quell current buyer demand like some people are expecting. Oh, hi.
There she is.
I know.
There she is. That's Nala.
So along with this demand, we're also got people moving out of densely populated areas and cities because businesses are allowing people to work from home, and they're also competing for workers. So we're seeing more and more people move out of highly densely populated areas to rural and suburban areas as well.
Yeah. So I think the moral story is things are definitely changing at a rapid pace. Still look for it to be a competitive market. Look, this varies by case. So if you're getting in the market or you know somebody who is and wondering how that's going to impact them and their situation, please reach out to any of us here. We'd be happy to walk them through how this may or may not impact them. And as always, appreciate the support.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.